But the two pieces of legislation, H.R. 761 would redirect the money to State Route 99. So the $3.3 billion that's left of stimulus dollars that were supposed to be used on shovel-ready projects. Obviously, this, after 3 years, is not a shovel-ready project. So this would redirect it to Highway 99. The second bill by Congressman Kevin McCarthy, the first one was by Devin Nunes, both Valley Republicans. The second one would freeze the availability of federal funds for high-speed rail until the environmental assessment was completed, which also was in Prop 1A. John, what is your feeling? I know you may not have looked at those two bills, but the two concepts behind those, what do you think about those?
We would be absolutely in support of that. People say that roads and highways are not the transportation system of the future. I would disagree. I think roads and highways will become more sophisticated. There'll be better signaling, and the vehicles themselves will become far more fuel efficient as time goes on. But having rubber-tired vehicles for moving people and cargo is still one of the most efficient ways to move things and people around. And 99 has a host of issues, and we would be very supportive of both those concepts.
Well, thank you. We've got to take another break here, but you're on with Congressman Jeff Denham. Our guest today is John Capal, president of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and you're on News Talk 580 KMJ. Well, good afternoon. You're live with Congressman Jeff Denham, filling in for a vacationing Ray Appleton on News Talk 580 KMJ. My guest today is John Capal, the president of Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and we're talking about high-speed rail. We had a high-speed rail hearing in D.C. last week. We're doing one specifically on California high-speed rail on Thursday, and I would ask you to go to denham.house.gov. We're doing a poll on our website, and weigh in. Let us know what your thoughts are. Are we, do you think that this should go through at any cost? What type of jobs do you think are going to be on here? But weigh in at denham.house.gov. As well on Thursday, if you want to look into the hearing itself, it's going to be on transportation.house.gov. That is the website, 7 a.m. Thursday morning. Again, that's transportation.house.gov. Fresno Mayor Ashley Swearengin will be there. Roloff Van Ark, the chair of the High Speed Rail Authority, and many others. We're going to be talking about a couple of different Valley bills that deal with high-speed rail, and so we'd ask you to join in. We have on the phone line right now Doug from Fresno. Doug?
Yes.
We've got a couple more seconds before we wrap up here. Welcome to the call.
Okay. Hi, Congressman. Hi, Jonathan. I just still want to relate something going back a little bit. We had two separate bond issues and projects prior to this high-speed project that addressed rail passenger and rail consolidation dating back to the 80s. If you all remember, first back on the UP line, which was the Southern Pacific, we were going to put traffic there, and all these small towns got all this money from the federal and state highway funds to go upgrade their little stations. Turlock, for example, Congressman, you probably remember that, Modesto. They all upgraded their stations. Now they're just sitting there as office complexes because we gave up on that and we moved over to the Santa Fe, and we spent hundreds of millions of dollars upgrading that track, and we were going to go 125 miles an hour and go over to L.A. and San Francisco, and that was going to be a real good project. Well, we dropped that, and now we're into hundreds of billions of dollars on another project. Something's got to end, and somebody's also got to get proactive on this. Why don't we just pick one of those and finish it? For example, the Santa Fe line. The only thing left to do there, of course, is the signaling and the getting over the pass into L.A., and it's done. A few $100 million, and you're done. And you're going 125 miles an hour, not this theoretical 220, which you'll never get to. And the average speed, if you all go down highways, you know your average speed isn't 65. At the end of the day, it's probably 45. So my concern is, why don't we get proactive? Why don't the Republicans and the taxpayer organizations say, instead of just saying no, remind everybody we've already spent hundreds of millions of dollars on these other projects. Let's finish them.
Well, Doug, thank you very much for the call. We're certainly working to be proactive in this case, not just on the issue of high-speed rail, but on the Transportation Committee. We are working on both rail and a highway bill. John, any follow-up, any last-minute comments before we're breaking again?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me on. This is a very important issue. The projected cost of this project will be burdening our children for generations if it proceeds. So I would urge your listeners to continue to be vigilant on this issue. And I think your caller is absolutely right that there's a whole lot better ways to spend transportation dollars a lot more effectively than this particular project, and we would be supportive of upgrades of our existing rail system. And I think it's very interesting to note that one of the proponents, or one of the original opponents, they were on our side of the high-speed rail, were the traditional transit activists and the California Rail Association. They were opposed to high-speed rail. They like trains, but they recognize this project for what it really is, and that is one of the biggest boondoggles in the history of mankind.
Well, John, I want to thank you for joining us today. We had John Capal, the president of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, the largest taxpayers association in California. Appreciate your work on this, as well as working on a variety of different issues over the years, fighting for taxpayers. So thank you. Again, you're on with Congressman Jeff Denham. I'm filling in for a vacationing Ray Appleton today, and this is News Talk 580 KMJ.
Today